Hello everyone and welcome to another Minecraft showcase video. I'm calling this one my Minecraft Toolbox. That is because some things in Minecraft require the existence of external tools to help you achieve them. Like this extraordinary piece of map art below me here. This is something that we did recently. We brought the Hermitcraft Season 10 logo to the server through maps. And this was made possible with the use of external tools. So I thought, why don't I make a video showing you a whole bunch of the tools that I use to achieve some of the things that we do inside of the Minecraft game. And we're going to start with one that I found to be most useful inside of testing environments when you're trying to learn things about this game and the entities that inhabit it. This tool is a great way to learn about commands. Something like summoning an array is relatively simple, but what about when you want to add in some MBT data? Then things start to get a little tricky. This tool is known as MCStacker, and I've been using it for a long time. You can intuit from these buttons here that it's going to help you create commands inside of the game. And this is a great opportunity to learn more about the commands. The tool will make it easy to get what you want, but you'll learn in the process too. So we're going to start with the summon command, and when you click on it, you're going to get a whole bunch of these text inputs. Now don't be overwhelmed because you don't need to fill all of this stuff out. You only need to change it from the default. So let's start with what type of entity we're going to bring into the world. I want a zombified piglin. And you know what? I want it to be glowing because why not? So we can set this to true. Quite a lot of these fields will just simply have a drop down allowing you to pick an option, and next to them there's always a question mark which can elaborate on what this field is about. So you may not need to give it a value for its portal cooldown or how long since it was last hurt. And although most of these explain what they are, you might not understand what yaw and pitch are. So again, there's that explanation, but you can just leave the field blank. Now, some entries will have a S next to them, and this is essentially where we're going to nest a whole bunch more commands onto that particular entry. This is holding, which is for holding an item. So when I click here, we get to pick what item it's going to be. So let's go ahead and give this guy a netherite sword, and then we can do attribute modifiers. So I could give it the enchantment glint override. Then we click the plus button to add it, and then we can just simply set that to true. So those are the basics, and it'll take you exploring what's available here, clicking on the question marks to learn about what each of the entries are, and then you can learn a lot more about the game itself. But my favorite feature of this is the ability to add passengers. So let's go ahead and give our zombified piglin a villager. It then brings up the relevant fields for that entity. So we can now see entries like this. We can give it a profession. All right, let's go a step further and add another passenger on top of the villager. This one is simply going to be an array. And I want to show you something really cool you can do with custom name. Inside of here, you can do stuff like set it to bold, italic, even give it a color or strike through. But we're going to take advantage of the gradient maker, the abomination. I think I've spelled that correctly. Now we get to pick two colors here. So we're going to go from red over to yellowish, and then generate gradient text. Now, when you're done creating your entity to summon into the world, the command will be inside this box in the top right of the page. We can then paste that into this command block and then summon the entity. And there it is, a glowing zombified piglin with a netherite sword that's got the enchantment glint but isn't enchanted. We've got our custom villager, and on top, an array that is the abomination. Now, we've obviously just used this to have a little bit of fun, but it's a great way to investigate the game's mechanics, learn about different entities and commands. For example, we can use /give to give ourselves a cow spawn egg. Then we can add the entity data for the cow that it's going to spawn. And nested inside of here, you'll see those familiar fields for entities once again. And then down here in the age field, we're going to give it -60, which will be about 3 seconds in the negative. And now I've given myself this cow spawn egg. So when we right click it, we get a baby cow that grows into an adult in 3 seconds, which can be really useful for testing contraptions and stuff. If this site looks familiar to you, then you've probably been playing this game for a long time. This is an old tool known as Mist, but unfortunately, it's no longer being developed. And since then, the alternative that I've been using is known as Chunkbase. This is a seed map generator. You can type in the seed of your world, select the version of Minecraft you're playing in, even pick a different dimension. And then you can see a generation of your map and all of the different biomes. There are coordinates on the screen, and when you hover over a biome, it will tell you the name of it too. You can also have the map show you generative features like villages, ancient cities, monster spawners, and the stronghold. And there's actually a ton of these the map can display, to the point where it can get a little bit overwhelming. Now you are able to zoom in as well, and sometimes when you do that, the map will refresh. And of course, you can zoom all the way out if you want to. It can get pretty noisy with all of these features turned on. However, it can help you find things like enchanted golden apples and trial spawners. We got jungle temples and ruined portals. But this can do more. You can also highlight a biome. So let's go in search of one of those windswept gravelly hills. And if we look here, you can see, look, they've been highlighted, and then we can zoom in and grab the coordinates. Now, some of its features will prompt you to zoom in, which you might overlook. When we zoom in now, we're going to be able to see where the slime chunks in our world are. The same thing applies to the dungeon too. When you zoom in, you can see where the spawners are and also what type of spawner they will be. As you can imagine, this is extraordinarily useful when seeking out a double spawner where two of them are close enough together to be activated at the same time. The website does have a few more features here and there, but that's the bulk of what it does, and it's a really powerful and comprehensive seed viewer for all the things that your Minecraft world will contain. Alright, next up, banners. Have you ever wanted to make beautiful text like this? Well, here is a tool simply called Minecraft Letters Banners. It's really straightforward. You get to pick the base color, the pattern color, and if this is for a creative project, there's even a command to give you a shulker box with all the letters of the alphabet in. If we scroll down, you can see that each of the banners have a give command, but there's also this show steps, which will show you the colors and patterns you need to apply in order to create that letter. If you then click on this edit button, this all gets imported into their banner maker. And as you can see, there's a bunch of options here you can customize. So we can move these layers around, and then we can click on them to change them as well. That includes the color and the pattern of the banner. You also get a fancy preview over here on the left. So once you've got the design that you want, you can use this to recreate it in survival. Or if you're in creative, there is a give command once again. This is a really easy tool to use. I barely needed to give an explanation of how to use it because it's so intuitive. But also on this website, you can get numbers, arrows, country flags, even chess pieces. And once again, it all comes with the same interface for picking your colors. And the arrow designs that it offers are relatively varied. There's quite a few variations here. Next up, we're visiting a website called Minecraft Tools, which is very fitting of this video. It has lots of tools, some similar to that we've already seen, like the mobs generator or banner crafting. I want to highlight its firework crafting. We all know how to craft fireworks, but sometimes it can be a little tricky to remember the specifics. So you can select your colors, which is pretty straightforward. But this is the bit that I love, the explosion shape and the type of effect that you can apply. And then you've got the shooting power. But once you validate it, it's going to put it into a command for you to use if you're in creative, or you get your step-by-step instructions on how to craft this particular rocket. It's a really useful tool, and I think there's an opportunity here to add a little preview of what the firework would look like in action, some sort of animation that's generated by the firework that you created in the web page. That would be absolutely awesome. The next thing on this website relates to creating a new world, specifically a superflat, and customizing it. And I'm not sure how many people interact with this part of the game, but you can select something like redstone ready, and up the top here you can customize it, but this is probably confusing to most people. Well, that's where the website comes in handy. I've selected the redstone ready preset. I could change the biome to one of these other ones. And then down in this area, we can click a block on the right-hand side to add it to the list here. We can drag it up and down, and we can define how many blocks tall that layer is going to be. It also includes the options to have villages, structures, dungeons, or ocean monuments in your world. And when you select some of these, you get even more options for how often they'll appear in the world. Then at the bottom is the Create the Preset button. And now you can copy this text here into the game. We're of course talking about this part up here. This is where you would put it into the game. All right, let's go and check out something else I did this season of Hermitcraft with the help of one of these tools. I created a mural up here in the sky. This is it right here, and it's made all out of shulker boxes. But the question here is, how did I get this image of the Loglands text converted into blocks to bring onto Hermitcraft? I did this with MCStacker's mural generator. It has a step-by-step guide, and the first step is to simply import an image. Yeah, that's right. It's got to be the derp face. Okay, step 2 is the placement, so you can define which direction it's going to be facing. In step 3, you get to choose your blocks. So over here, there is a big list of blocks that are all currently included. There are some categories, so you can take light emitting blocks, select them, and then put them in the excluded blocks list. In step 4, we get to generate a preview. That's what my derp face is going to look like. Now, the rest of the steps are options to download it as a data pack or to get a MC function file. There are also step-by-step instructions on how to place this using command blocks. And there's even written step-by-step instructions for placing the blocks in survival. I, however, do not recommend doing it this way. My preferred method is the data pack. So we go ahead and run the command in game, and look at that, it's placed the mural for us. Oh, ridiculous. So the very beginning of this video, I showed you the map art right here. This thing spanned across 2 maps. And I was able to do this thanks to this tool called MapartCraft. You can upload an image here to turn into a map. Looks like we're doing this one again. On the left-hand side of the screen, you've got your block selection. The thing to pay attention to here is that it shows you a preview of the colors that it does, and then it gives you a choice of which block you want to use. So if you've got a glowstone farm, you might just want to select that material. There are also some presets here for if you want to do like a grayscale image. See, look at that, the derp face is now grayscale. And of course, you can go in here and tinker the materials. So if you don't have grey wall, but you've got loads of grey concrete, you can select that and get the same color on the map. So what one would you choose for this color? Block of diamonds, prismarine, or beacons? It is really, really handy. And as you can see here, it covers all of the different colors on the map in the game. It will also print out a material list of all the things that you needed, even divided down into shulker boxes. Now, there are more options here in settings, and one that you should really pay attention to is stair casting. I recommend turning this to off if it's your first time creating a map. There are also some differing techniques that you can pick from. Check out the preview here as I switch between a few different differing styles. There's also image processing if you want to brighten the image that you've got a little bit beforehand. That's pretty much all you need to know, but I want to show you staircasing so you know what you could be getting yourself into. To bring the blocks of your map into the world, you'll need to use a program like Litematica to create the projection of all the blocks that you need to place. And when you use staircasing, you create this monstrosity. As I understand it, the map will have a top-down view on this, and you get better range of color by using this technique, so your map can be more detailed. But yeah, I just want you to know what you're getting yourself into if you choose this option. And if you really want to, you can also just download this as a map file and put it into your world save. And that creates a perfect segue to our very last tool, which is To PNG. You can simply drag a map file onto the website, and then if you scroll down, you get a preview of what that map looks like. This was a very useful tool when migrating the TCG maps of Season 9 over to Season 10 of Hermitcraft. But that is the last tool that I have for you this video. I do have a few more up my sleeves that are maybe related to some more admin type stuff. So if you're interested in seeing more content like this, leave a like to support the channel. Thanks as always. Make sure you subscribe for more videos in the future, and I'll see you soon with another one. Bye bye.